The following segment is sponsored by CSL Plasma.
There is a critical and ongoing need for human plasma to produce life-saving medicines for people with serious and rare diseases. Dr. Toby, Simon, and Machelle are here to tell us more. Welcome to the show, you guys. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
I'm really thrilled to sit down and chat with you guys. Right off the bat, Dr. Simon, I want to talk about why donating plasma is so important.
Well, as a physician who's treated patients with plasma-derived therapy in the past, I really know how important it is that we have these treatments available when patients need them. And very often, as you indicated, it's patients with inherited and rare diseases who are born lacking a protein or a substance that's needed to sustain life. And we can provide that by the plasma donated by healthy individuals and pooled, and then we can concentrate this specific substance for that person. But it's also needed in the intensive care unit for people who are acutely ill and have various medical problems.
And kind of elaborating on that, as you mentioned, what are some conditions that plasma-based therapies treat?
Well, in addition to the inherited rare diseases, like you'll hear about from Machelle, but also respiratory diseases, bleeding disorders, immunodeficiency, where people are born with the inability to make antibodies to fight infection. We can provide those antibodies from plasma-derived therapies. Sometimes it's also acquired during their life, and they need these treatments. And then also for neurologic diseases, for many of the neurologic diseases, plasma-derived therapies are quite important.
Okay, and Dr. Simon, let's talk about the candidates. Who can donate plasma, and what are the requirements?
Well, it's basically healthy individuals between the ages of 18 and 75 who have not had a tattoo or a piercing in the last 4 months, and you do have to weigh at least 110 pounds. There are some other requirements, and we do go through a health assessment, but most healthy individuals are able to donate plasma. And the procedure, which is different than giving a whole blood donation, it's connecting the donor through the venipuncture to automated equipment that does the procedure we call apheresis. So it spins the blood, and then the red cells settle, and they're given back to the donor. So the donor doesn't become anemic or iron deficient. We retain the plasma, and then we give the donor saline at the end to restore their blood volume.
Wow, it's really incredible what they can do with science. Machelle, can you please explain why plasma donations are so important to you?
Yes, my specific disorder is hereditary angioedema. And like the name states, it is hereditary, meaning that I inherited it from my father, and then my youngest son in turn inherited it from me. And what happens with us is we're missing a critical protein in our blood. And the result of that is that we have catastrophic swelling throughout our body. Anywhere where blood flows, we can have these attacks of swelling. And what that can mean is if it's in our extremities or in our stomach, it can be very painful or debilitating. If it goes into our face, then it can become more life-threatening.
Okay.
And if it involves our airways, then it can become fatal, which was the case of my father. He actually passed away from an attack in the years prior to these donations being available, and therefore the therapies that come with them. And then in the years with me, following behind his footsteps.
Machelle, thank you so much for sharing your story and your testimonial. I know we could sit and talk about this for a long time. I so appreciate, you sharing this. And thank both of you guys for coming on so much. It's been so great and informative.
Thank you.
You.